knowing how to friend is difficult. Anytime you mix two complex human beings in a close relationship, it isn't always easy to understand and maintain peace. Friendships take a lot of work. Plus, there are a few other things that make it tough. Growing up, you weren't necessarily taught how to be friends. Our parents and teachers taught us how to behave and be polite and be kind, say thank you, work hard and mind our manners, but they didn't explain to us what it meant to be a good friend. Maybe that's because adults struggle with this concept just as much as teenagers. We were taught to play basketball, to spell, to do multiplication, but we weren't taught how to navigate relationships. With that being said, our friendships are usually formed by default. Our friendships just sort of happen. If someone's in our class, on our team, in our neighborhood, and we get along with them, we become friends. We don't put any more thought into it than that. And this is totally normal and natural, but it certainly doesn't mean that we'll have great friendships. Because friendship is hard. Think about it. When it comes to friendship, things are always changing. You move to a new school, switch classes, take up a new hobby, people in your life change. You're making new friends, which is cool, but it's tough to build and maintain close friendships with all this constant change. You're not always sure where you stand with your friends. Sometimes it seems like you're left out of text threads, or you don't get a voice in making plans, or nobody's inviting you to anything. If we're being honest, you're not even sure if you're actually in with your friends or not. A third thing, expectations aren't always met. Your friends don't do the things that you want them to do. They don't connect with you enough during the week. Hangout is just on the weekends, or remember those important details of your life. You feel like those are the kinds of things that real friends do, but you don't have any friends around you that are doing those things. When it comes to friendship, we all tend to focus on what we're not getting from the people in our lives. But here's the good news. What we're talking about today and in this series over the next few weeks has the potential to be a game changer when it comes to the way we approach all aspects of friendship. As old as the Bible is, it still has something to say about our relationships with other people. The Bible is divided into two sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament was written before Jesus walked on earth, and the New Testament consists of the books that account for the time Jesus walked on earth and beyond. The first 4 books of the New Testament are called the Gospels. They are the account of Jesus' life when he lived among us. One of those Gospels is the book of John. It was written by one of Jesus' disciples named John, who was also a very close friend to Jesus, and who a lot of people think was probably just a teenager when he followed Jesus. At one point, John writes about a very serious moment in Jesus' life. It took place right before Jesus would be arrested and sentenced to die on the cross. And while his disciples had no idea what was about to happen, Jesus knew what was approaching. So with that in mind, Jesus gathered his friends together for one last meal. Considering what was ahead for him, Jesus could have been looking around the table at his friends and thinking, what are these guys going to do for me when all of this happens? Are they going to prove that they're my real friends? But that's not what Jesus did. Instead of waiting to see how his friends would respond to him, Jesus decided to take the first step. Instead of being reactive, Jesus was proactive with his friends. Check this out. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. John 13, 4-5. This may seem totally random, but back in the day, people walked. A lot. Sometimes they even walked on their bare feet. And they weren't walking on sidewalks or paved roads. There was dust, sand, dirt, sweat, and who knows what else. Feet were not clean. Not even close. Back then, washing someone's feet was a job typically done by a servant for a house with a guest. Or someone in a lower position would wash the feet of someone in a higher position. In this situation, it would have made sense for the disciples to wash Jesus' feet. But Jesus was the master of flipping people's expectations. He often did things that were countercultural or counterintuitive, and this was no different. Jesus demonstrated to his disciples what true friendship looks like. He took the first step. He didn't wait on someone else to do what he wanted them to do. He served them. He did it for them to model the kind of friend that he wanted them to be to other people. In fact, in a different gospel written by Luke, who was a doctor, he records Jesus as saying something that's some pretty good advice when it comes to friendship. Do to others as you would like them to do to you. Luke 6:31. In other words, Jesus is saying that when it comes to relationships, we need to be proactive. We need to treat our friends the way that we wish that they would treat us. But let's be honest, this can be really hard to do, right? Usually we take the opposite approach. We react. We treat people the way that they treat us. We respond to how they make us feel. If someone makes us feel angry because they aren't meeting our standard of friendship, we treat them with anger. If someone leaves us out of a group text, you better believe that we'll leave them out of our next group text. But if we really think about it, we can agree that that's not the way we want our friendships to work. We want our friends to value us, to include us, notice us, and be kind to us. We want to feel important to our real friends, and we don't want them to pay us back evenly for every single little mistake that we make. We want them to be patient with us and show us grace and forgiveness. Think about what Jesus said in today's terms. What if I messaged others the way I want to be messaged? What if I invite others the way I would like to be invited? What if I talk to others like I would like to be talked to? What if I forgive others the way I like to be forgiven? What if I listen to others the way that I would like for them to listen to me? What if I post on social media about others the way I'd like for them to post about me? Think about this. Jesus could have made all of the friendships about him. He was the ringleader. He had the highest status and position. He could have used all of his power to leverage the friendship for himself. But instead, he served. He put his friends first. He was humble, supportive, encouraging, and forgiving. And that's what we can do for our friends. Think of it this way. Being a friend means serving your friends. We want to make our friends, we want them to make the first move and treat us well, to put our needs first. But we can be the kind of friend that we want to have without waiting for anybody else to make the first move. We can follow Jesus' example in our friendship and serve right now. There are a million ways that you and I can serve our friends and put them first without waiting for them to do it. But for the sake of today, let's talk about 3 simple ideas. First, think about your friends. Don't just think about your needs and what they're doing or not doing for you. Think about their situation, their feelings, their worries, their insecurities, and try to be gracious and empathetic with them. They have moments of anxiety and fear just like you do. They get down just like you do. They have highs and lows just like you do. Second, listen to your friends. Ask questions about things that are important to them. Try to actually listen to the answers and try to keep up with the important things that are happening in their lives. If you have a terrible memory, maybe use the notes app on your phone or write down important things, good or bad, that are happening in the lives of your friends, and then follow up with them. Take an interest in the things that interest them. And number 3, pray for your friends. If your friend is going through something difficult, pray for them. If things are falling apart in their family, pray for them. If they have important things coming up, pray for them. Even short, quick, simple prayers are a big deal. And then tell them that you're praying for them if you want. If you do these things, it doesn't mean that everything is going to work out perfectly in your friendships all the time. This won't magically fix your friendships. And at the end of the day, a friendship is still about 2 imperfect people existing in the same place. And anytime imperfect people are around each other, stuff can go wrong. But this will be so powerful for you moving forward. This is a great place to start when it comes to how to friend. And for the rest of your life, you're going to be in friendships and relationships, learning to serve, making the first move, and putting others first will create an incredible foundation for you to be an incredible friend from now into the future. And at the end of the day, the only friend that you can control is you. Being a friend means serving your friends. It means taking the lead to look out for them and their interests without waiting for someone to do something for you. Imagine if you become comfortable making the first move. Imagine if you started the group text instead of waiting for somebody else to start it. Imagine if you didn't retaliate, but instead you forgave and you showed grace. Imagine if you were the kind of friend that you want to have. Being this kind of friend will take work, but the work is so worth it. It all starts by you doing to others as you want them to do to you.